Hey guys, what's up? So in this video, we're going to go ahead and customize our login view so that we use Django's default login and logout views. Now I'm going to start that by coming to our urls.py within our URLs for actually our users app. And the first thing I'll do is first import our authentication view. So I'll start by saying from Django.contrib, we are going to import our auth app. And then from that app, we shall import our views. And then, sorry for this, so we shall import our views. And then you're going to import these views as our authentication views. And right after importing our authentication views, I'm simply going to change the view functions of our login as well as our logout function. So I'm just going to come right in here, and then I'll remove our views.login user, and I'll replace it with auth views. This will be logout, actually this will be login view, but since this is a class-based view, we shall make it a view by calling that as view function. And once we've done that, I'm going to save, and when we go back to our Chrome right here, when I refresh, we now have our template not existing. So by default, Django's default login form basically has the template as registration/login.html. But since we do not have that, and one solution can actually be for us to create this template, and another solution can be to specify the template in our URL. So to do that, we're going to actually check out the template that we actually rendered for our login form in the previous video. So I'll go to views.py within our post app, and our template is actually users/login.html. So I'll copy this and then go back to our urls.py right here. So we're going to set this up within .as view. It's going to take in arguments such as the template name. Now this template name is going to be the name of the template that we're going to render for our login form. So I'll simply paste this in, and after pasting it in, I'm going to come right here and refresh. So right now we see that our template is working. However, we have a problem. Our fields are not styled like the way we styled them in the previous video. Now to do this, we're actually going to also override our authentication form, that is the form that's actually displayed on this login view. So to do that, I'm simply going to head over to our forms within our posts, actually within our users app, and within there I'm just simply going to come to our login form, and I'm just simply going to come and change this login form from what it is right now to the one that is from our authentication form. I'm going to comment that out, and then I'll just simply come and create this class once again. And once we have this, I'm simply going to go ahead and import our authentication form. So it also comes from our Django contrib auth form. So I'm simply come right here and import it as our authentication form. And once I've done that, I'll simply come right in here and provide, this is actually going to be our authentication form. So since this is our authentication form, I'll simply go ahead and customize it. So I'll copy the same function that we actually used in the previous video, and I'll bring it right here. So when I bring it here, we're actually going to change our login form. So I'll change this from user creation form to login form, and then we're going to have this field. So I'll also add one field that's for our password. And once I have this, so I'm going to specify our username to be, actually this is going to be our password, because then you have a password field, and then I'll change this to your password, and then I'll go ahead and change this to also your password. Now once I have this, I'll simply save, but this is actually a password input, so I'll change this widget to also password input, and when I save, I'll come right here and refresh. Actually, these are not working because then we need to specify that the form we are using is our login form. So for us to do that, I'll simply come within our URLs, and I'll provide one extra argument. So that argument is actually going to be the authentication form. And once we have our authentication form, I'll simply import our login form. So I'll just say from .forms, we are going to import our login form. And once I import our login form, I'll simply come to our authentication form and specify it to be our login form. So when I save, I'll simply come right here and I refresh, Now we see that our fields have actually been styled. So let's try to actually first change this. So I'll just come to our login form and then change our value for this input to login. When I save and refresh, we now have our login field working. So let's go ahead and try to log in our user using these fields. So I'll provide a username, and this username is going to be Paul Heyman, and then I'll provide the password. So this password is going to be our password. So I'll go ahead and log in, and right now we are being redirected to /accounts/profile. Now, while using Django's default login form, wherever we log in successfully, we are redirected to /accounts/profile. Now, the way we're going to be able to fix this is by setting our login redirect URL. So I'm going to do that by coming to our settings.py within our blog project. So I'll go to settings.py, and then I'll come and say that we're going to have we're going to separate this. So I'll just simply call them login settings, and within our login settings, I'm simply going to define our login redirect URL, and this login redirect URL is going to just be a URL. So in this case, we are going to redirect to our /URL, which is our root project URL. Now, when I go ahead and save this, I'll go back to our browser right here. So when you try to log in once again, right now we are logged in. So I'll try to log in once again. When I provide our username and provide our password, right now I'm going to try to log in, and now we can see that we are redirected to our root URL or our home page. Now, when you go ahead and log out, we are redirected to our home page, but we're going to actually also fix that so that we use Django's default logout view. So we're going to do that within our URLs. So simply going to come and check for our URLs, and within our URLs, I'm going to go and change this from logout user to our auth view for logging out. So that's going to be auth views.logout view. It's actually going to be logout view.as view. And then right in here, I'm simply going to save. So when we head over here and try to log in once again, when we provide our username, this is actually going to be Paul Heyman, and then we shall provide our password. So when we log in, right now we see that we can actually log out. So when you log out, you're actually shown this screen for our Django admin. So what we're going to do here is to customize the template or the view where we are redirected after logging out. So I'll simply come within our settings.py, and then I'll write another login setting. So I'll just come right here and say it's actually going to be our logout redirect URL, and this is actually going to be /. So right here, just going to fix this, and when I save, I'll head over to our home page. Actually, this is taking us to our Django admin, but I want to go back to our home page. Now let's try to log in. So if I provide my username as Paul Heyman, and then I'll provide the password. When I log in, right now we can be able to log in. So when we log out, we can be able to actually go to our home page. Stuff is now working. So what we need in this case is to be able to access the different protected URLs on our website. So when you log in right now, so actually let's go and experiment with those URLs. I'll go to our posts app, and then within our posts app, I'll check out our views and then try to access the one for creating a post. So when you're not logged in, what we expect is to be able to redirect to that login page so that you can be able to log in and access that page. Now let me try to access the one for creating a post, which is at /create post. So right now we're actually seeing that the login URL is /account/login. Now to change this, we can set it within our settings. So I'm going to go to our settings.py right here, and then I'll add one extra setting, and this is going to be our login URL, and this will be /auth, because that's actually what we specified for all our users route, so our users URLs, and then it's going to be on /login. So after doing that, I'll simply come right in here, and then we'll try to access our create post once again. Right now, we're going to be redirected to our login page. So if we provide our username as Paul Heyman, and then we provide our password, we can now be able to log in and create a post. Stuff is now working. So let's go ahead and also customize our form so that you can be able to see the different errors that may occur in case users submit data. So I'm going to log out, and then you try to log in. So I'm going to log in with a user who does not exist. In this case, let me log in with a user called Diana123. So I'll provide the password. So provide the password for this user. And when you try to log in, right now we'll see that we have errors, but we are not displaying them. So the way we're going to do that is accessing these errors through our template. Now simply do that by going to our login.html, and I'll access that error, and we're going to actually access it from form.errors, and this is actually going to be a dictionary containing all the errors in the different fields our form has. So I'll simply come right in here, and before I'll actually do it right after our login. So I'll just simply come right here and check if our form has errors. So I'll do that with form.errors. And once we have that, I'll simply come and basically show a paragraph. And this paragraph is going to be showing form.errors. So I'm going to come right here, and when I try to resubmit this form, so I'll provide a password once again. When I try to log in, right now we see that our error is being shown. Now what we need is to be able to show this error in case we do not have any of these matching. So what we actually need is to basically show a message in our form in case we are not able to log in with that username and password. So I'm simply going to change this, and if we have any errors, I'm simply going to come and style this up. I'll give it a class of alert and then error. So when I save, I'll simply come right here, and instead of giving them a hint about the field, so we shall just come and say invalid username or password. So when I save, when I come back in our CSS, I'm going to be able to style that. So I'll begin by selecting that specific paragraph with alert, error, and then I'll simply give it the same stylings just for our alert. But in this case, our background color is actually going to be red. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. So let's try to actually submit this form. So we actually have our errors: invalid username or password. Our styles are not yet working. So I'll try to hard refresh this. And now we see that our error is actually showing. So when you try to log in with credentials that do not exist, we're going to get this beautiful alert message right here. And let's say when you try to log in with our user who is existing, we're actually going to be able to log in. In this video, we've been able to look at how we can use Django's inbuilt user login system to log in and log out our users. We've also looked at how we can be able to display error messages in case the user shows credentials that are not in our system. If you've liked this video, please help me by hitting that like button so that we enable this video to reach as many beginners as possible. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.